and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at News Nerds Need on Twitter. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram.
Columbia down the way.
Wow, I'm shiny AF right about now. But anyway, too late for that. And on sound effects is our man in Brooklyn with the Lokes on. Well, he's not in Brooklyn at the time, but that's right. He still got the Lokes on. 1agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram.
What's up, everybody?
He wants his daddy's records.
Look right here, everybody.
only certain people, only certain vintage people will get probably either one of those references at this point.
Oh gosh.
Man, Star Wars is 45 years old.
Stop that.
I'm just saying. Anyway,
listen, prequels are over 20.
I know, yeah, I know, right? But we'll get into some of that.
At least Phantom Menace is over 20.
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. But yeah, we'll get to some Star Wars talk a little later. Right now, we can this program, you can find us on the Coastal of the Podcast Network. That's cspn.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Coastal of the Podcast Network's SoundCloud page. You can find us recording every Thursday night. Yeah, we're back on schedule. 9:30-ish. Well, and
I said, it's because of the holiday weekend, and I was out of town. But I would have probably been watching Top Gun Maverick tonight had things gone according to somebody else's plans.
Right. Well, yeah, we do have a movie protocol coming in the next couple of months. So.
Yep.
It is.
But back to the credits. Yeah, back to our plugs.
For sure. Well, I'm pretty much finished now because you can find us recording Thursday nights every Thursday night. Excuse me, on the Cold Slither podcast. Wait, hold on, that's not right. You can find us recording every Thursday night, 9:30-ish p.m. on the Kliq Nation's YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/thekliqnation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to click like and subscribe and leave all the 5-star reviews.
This is what happens when you go off script, folks. You just get all discombobulated.
Absolutely. All my fault.
No, not your fault. Not your fault. Because I was thinking about Star Wars and I was like, wow. But yeah. So we are first actually going to get into a star of another type starting out the show. We're going to actually do a very quick recap of Star Trek Picard Season 2, since that is all wrapped up.
Right.
Actually, I'm pretty sure there's probably a recap out there, but it's too late to find that out. And it's just because there was really not much. Well, there was a lot they did this season. Like, they put a few different pieces on the board. So, first off, there was like the whole time travel thing. Well, first off, I guess before that, there's a whole thing with Q, which I guess that ends up being the start and the end of it. But there's also a thing with the Borg, which, of course, if you know anything about Star Trek's and Picard's particular history with the Borg, you know those are kind of closely tied. And it's all kind of wrapped up in Star Trek 4 in a ways. No whales involved, but there's definitely some time travel. They slungshot. They went back to the 21st century or something like that. They got into trouble, which ended up having to do with Borg. Apparently, Data's we'll call him ancestor.
Right. It's not his creator, but his creator's ancestor.
Correct. Was involved, which
like his creator.
Pretty much, yeah. They're all looking alike. Those genes, quote unquote, those genes ran strong.
Oh, guess what?
What's that?
we were right about when we were going to get a particular upload.
Ah, mm-hmm. I kind of figured that was the case.
Love it.
Actually, probably if it's finished, that's sooner than I thought it was going to be. That's funny. At any rate, so yes, we have a soon that came into the picture. So, there was that to be dealt with. There was a meeting. Well, I guess a pre-meeting with Guinan, because we know Picard and Guinan met, but way earlier than this particular timeline. But nevertheless, there was a young Guinan in the mix. So yeah, they had a few different things going on in this particular season, and it all wrapped up surprisingly decently, I would say, because it was like, and there was and of course there was a whole nother thing with some Picard one family history and his dealing with some family issues that he's had that he's never quite dealt with.
Right, or at least not directly. Right. A lot of the stuff had been hinted at,
right,
and not even hinted. There was just a mystery, and right. What ended up happening is that it turned out to be a lot darker than we originally knew.
Yeah.
Or even suspected. It was a lot darker than we even suspected. Let's put it that way.
Right, because it seemed like it was going one way, and then it was like, nope, it's going the whole another way. And apparently, and I guess, I guess you could bring this back into play, but Patrick Stewart and redheads. There's a thing there that is there's the continual throughput. No harm came to him in this particular meeting, but there was some harm to at some point. So.
Right.
But nevertheless, like I said, all of those things kind of wrapped around this whole season. Of course, the crux being Picard's, dealing with his family's, or some unresolved family issues that he's had, and also, I guess, a present dealing with a lady friend of his that he was kind of crazy to rebuke at the beginning of this because of said issues that he was apparently dealing with. So hopefully that's been rectified. But at the end of it, we pretty much got a new Borg Queen, which who ends up being somebody from the cast. Somebody stays in the past because it can't be a Star Trek if someone doesn't either come to the future or stays in the past, which is kind of sad because I kind of like that character and I wish he kind of had stayed in the quote unquote present or the future or whatever it was. So
right. I mean, what's funny about it is they make a point of returning to the quote unquote present, the far flung future. So they have basically completed the story on that character, and they give that character something of a send off. Right. But yeah, I was kind of taken aback by the fact that they did that to that particular character. Right. I thought that he had he provided a lot of spark to the cast.
Agreed.
In my opinion, and I was just kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, same here. And actually, even in the grand send-off of us here, I was like, now, why'd y'all have to do him like that? Like that whole, well, he died as he lived thing. I'm like, really? Did you have to do him like that, though?
Right.
Which, it is what it is. But yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that character go. And of course, the new Borg Queen, who is the former Dr. Jurati. Now, after some time shenanigans, although that whole thing with I'm drawing a blank on dude's name, but when they got back to the present / future, the one person was like, well, where's Captain Rios? Rios, that's his name. Like, where's Captain Rios? And Picard's like, look, stay on task. Don't worry about that. I'm sitting here like, okay, so it wasn't, and obviously it wasn't like, okay, so they went to the past and just erased his whole history. It's just the fact that he wasn't with them when they came back.
Yeah, he's just like, let's not worry about him, folks.
Right, right. Like, yeah. We got bigger things to deal with. And apparently, speaking of which, we got the new Borg Queen as Hodor now of a transwarp portal or whatever the case they call it. I can't remember what they call it. So
Oh,
now
right, right.
yeah. So now there's an alliance with the Borg because
I,
of all of that.
I was just gonna say, just wanted to add a quick addendum to that. It's always funny that I will almost always find a Harry Potter reference. Roddykat will make a Game of Thrones reference.
At times, and I haven't even seen all of Game of Thrones, which is the funny part
Oh
about
wow,
it. That's the funny
funny.
part about it.
That's funny.
So, but yeah, and the whole Q thing situation, the Q situation was was taken care of with some bit of finality, which was kind of sad but touching. You know, it was an interesting send off to John Delancey and Q. You know, and imparting some gifts. We also even get a guest, a cameo by a TNG cast member in a role that I had totally forgotten about. He had he was placed in nearing his time. He's basically a watcher.
Basically. I mean, have you basically gotten to like the end of like the recap?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So I mean, like, there's really much enough. That, like I said, Wesley Crusher comes in. He's a traveler / watcher. He recruits Dr. Soon's creation, Corey, who was played by the young lady who was played another, well, I guess played Data's daughter or whatever the case was from the first season. So that's a whole thing that happened, and Picard's pretty much living happily ever until the third season, which they've already filmed apparently.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything much else to go on.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, what I was going to add, or at least comment on, is the fact that in a offline in a pre-show message, Roddykat and I were sharing some thoughts of how we were going to talk about Picard as a whole, and Roddykat was able to share with me an Easter egg video and kind of a video that also shared thoughts of where might season 3 go given how season 2 wrapped itself up. And there were so many references and plot points that were touched upon, from throughout, Trek, not just the original series, not just TNG. There was some Deep Space Nine stuff, there was Discovery stuff, and all that stuff is, at least the Discovery stuff, a lot of the original series stuff was beyond my purview, beyond my comprehension. So I was only able to catch, say, like 1 out of every 4 references they were talking about. So I'm glad that Roddykat's able to speak at length about this and lead the discussion, because I was just sort of enjoying it for like the fact that it was nice to see Picard doing his thing, even with a different group of people, and and it's been teased that more TNG cast members are going to be coming back for the 3rd season. So I'll enjoy that, but all of the smaller things, the nods to other storylines and other events and even other places, are completely lost on a fan like me. But I think Roddykat is the type of fan who would appreciate a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, like some of the Disco stuff I wasn't, because I haven't gone through the whole of Discovery, so that some of that stuff was like, oh, okay, I didn't that part I wouldn't have known, because I hadn't seen that much of Discovery yet.
Right.
But yeah, pretty much everything else was like, all right, I was nice and geekily, nice and geeking out over there,
Okay.
including, oh yeah, I guess there was the one piece, because I think I might have mentioned it, I can't remember if it did, but the Data's ancestor thing, who apparently, as of what we found out, is responsible for, which we knew, I guess in Trek history we kind of knew, was responsible for the eugenics wars, which brought upon Khan. And that, so I don't know if we're going to see that, or they just kind of laid that as like, okay, here's a part of history that we know that was a thing, and just kind of laying down some bricks for that one. So, but yeah, all in all, like I said, I remember saying when it first started and we first kind of was talking about it, which granted we didn't do a blow by blow like we normally do, but I remember saying like, yeah, they were throwing a lot in this particular season. And they did take care of most of the stuff satisfactorily. Like I said, the stuff was real. So it was like, okay, that's weird. And I wasn't expecting Jurati to become the new Borg Queen, but I figured they were going to do something crazy with her. Which she had a couple of nice little turns in this also, but I guess it was to be expected, you know. Seven and Raffi had a nice little moment between them also. Then of course I mean, they had some trouble, but also, you know, it came out in a way. Although the end of that also weirdly came out of a because so at the end of the first season we see well, actually, excuse me, at the beginning of the season we see Rios as a captain back in Starfleet as a captain, and we see Seven of Nine with his old ship as a ranger, which she was in the first season. So that's not really, you know, not really much different. But at the end of this season, we see that she is now captain of his Starfleet ship, and he's off in the past. So, and you know, it was like, wow, so she's just gonna take over all of his seats, huh? So that part was also kind of weird. Like, this is just shunt my man out of the way each time, huh? You know, because the Borg Queen's got his ship, or had his ship. I don't even know what happened to the ship anymore. But yeah, it was like
he was basically retconned.
Yeah.
He was basically retconned. He was written out of existence.
Which actually,
in a couple of instances.
Right, which actually kind of funny, because that does remind me of Discovery in a way, from what I know of it, because Discovery took place like 10 years before TOS or something, or either Enterprise or something like that, regardless. But then they end up shutting them into the future. So, and I think what ended up happening was, it was like, we will never speak of this crew ever again, or no time soon, because they got shunted into the future. And then they got Strange New World, which is pretty much taken over, which is pretty much before TOS, when Pike was in charge of Enterprise. So they just like, nope, don't talk about none of that anymore. They're in the future. They don't matter, or you know, whatever the case may be. So I was like, they pretty much did a similar thing with Rios, except he's in the past.
Gotcha.
So that whole thing is kind of funny. But yeah, all in all, like I said, it was a pretty good season. I am looking forward to season 3 because, as Agent 70 said, we definitely got shades of some TNG cast members. Well, we talked about it, I know, before, that there are TNG cast members that are coming into the fold for season 3. Whether Wesley's coming back, we don't know, but I assume they wouldn't have put that there for no reason.
Right. You know, because that character that he's going off with, who I can't remember her name,
Corey,
but I'm sure she's going to have an additional storyline based off of that. That's what what I think is going to happen. So
right.
All right.
So yeah, that was Picard.
At that.
We're gonna go into books.
I was about to say, did you catch that? It was mad low. I didn't realize it was so low.
No, do it again.
Hold on. I thought it was louder. My memory says that it was louder, but I guess it was pretty downplayed.
I mean, it was louder, obviously, depending on what you were listening on. But yeah, it wasn't like, blowing out your ears loud.
Yeah, I remember it as being loud, but
right.
You know, maybe I'm just, misremembering.
Did you see it in the theater?
What year was this out?
Oh, Wrath of Khan 83, 84. I could be wrong.
want to say I might have, because I have this weird set of memories of my parents taking me to see movies, and
Mm-hmm.
me confusing, like thinking that I was like in a like a school auditorium, and I think it was actually the theater.
82.
Yeah, I might have,
Mm.
because I distinctly remember seeing the bug thing coming out of Chekhov's ear.
They put things in our ears. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
I
distinctly
absolutely
remember
remember.
that as a kid.
Yeah, I absolutely remember going to the theater seeing Con. So, which yeah, like
That's
you,
crazy.
yeah. We went to the theater. We went back in my days. We used to go. No, stop. Wasn't even supposed to see those
I had,
movies.
listen, I was having this is completely off topic, but I was having a conversation with someone who's a little bit younger than, who's of a little bit younger vintage than myself and Roddykat.
Mhm.
And the subject of the never ending story came up.
Mm, mm,
And this conversation happened over text message, and the person I was conversing with typed in Atreyu, and I recognized that as the correct spelling, and I said, "Hey, I didn't know that was the correct spelling for a long time. This is pre-closed captioning for me."
right.
You
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Pre-closed captioning. Do you think we knew how to spell half of these characters' names?
Yeah, and no one was really staying around for the credits. You
You
know,
know?
the music start playing, the credits start rolling, people were out.
You know, there was no such thing as post-credit scenes.
Right.
Ah,
Exactly.
that's so funny. It's just funny that that came up in that context, you know?
That's great.
Oh, but
That's great.
all right. So moving on,
Yeah,
I
so we're
think
gonna
we are done with Star Trek Picard.
we're gonna get into books of the week, and I totally forgot to get the cover, so that's going to mess me up when I do the captioning later on. But that's a me thing,
Mhm.
and then nothing else. We're gonna start off with Avengers number 56. Yeah.
All righty, as President Barlow would say.
What's next?
So, Avengers number 56 is written by Jason Aaron with art by Javier Garron, colors by David Curiel, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit. So, I can actually bring this book up for reference. So, it's not a it's not necessarily a standalone, because it does play into the greater story that has been unfolding involving the multiversal masters of evil. But what it does do is spotlight the character of Jane Foster. And I think what it is hinting at least, is some aspects of Marvel Universe and Marvel Cinematic Universe synergy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some aspects of Jane Foster's character in the Marvel Universe, comic book universe, that uh, are being uh, resurrected or resurfaced, so that we have some synergy with the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder MCU movie,
Mm-hmm.
namely Jane Foster as Thor. Right now, she's running around as the primary, not the last Valkyrie, but the primary Valkyrie. And this story involves her dealing with the last temptation of the Valkyrie
Hmm.
by multiple members of the Council of Red, or the multiversal Mephistos.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is, as I said, a spotlight on Jane, and some of the things that she has to deal with when it comes to breaking out from under the trap laid out for her by these particular Mephistos, these multiversal Mephistos. But there, as I said, there are also hints of some synergy between this version of Jane Foster and the MCU Jane Foster.
Oh, absolutely. Did you? I giggled when it first started, because when it first I was like, it was all a dream, and then it was like she woke up with thick Thor next to thick
Yeah,
Thor.
that was funny.
I was like, okay, I see where they're going with this, but this is a silly way to start.
Mm. Mhm.
I was like, all right,
And you know what's funny is that I also got thrown off a little bit by the timing because the Mjolnir we see is not the shattered Mjolnir that's running around in the pages of Thor right now,
right.
which would be a more synergy with the MCU.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Yeah. But since it was like a quote unquote dream, or a virtual scenario, I guess, as it were, to give that they put her under. Yeah, I guess some of that could have been clues to what's really
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, but bottom line is, this was like a nice little, spotlight on the Jane Foster Valkyrie character,
Mhm.
but they definitely wove in a little bit of that MCU synergy as well.
Of course, because like you said, we got a movie coming out.
Yep.
But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, and there is apparently Jane's still got some temptation to deal with at the end of that book, and which they're supposed to still be doing a Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor. There's supposed to be another Mighty Thor book with Jane Foster as Thor coming up, correct?
Um,
I thought there was, and I feel like we talked about it at one point. But and it was so as a
I think so.
yeah. So I was thinking, and I brought that up because it was like, well, I didn't think they were going to be doing some of that here, and I thought they were going to be saving some of the synergy, so the MCU synergy for that particular book. But I guess since Avengers are right here and there's a whole multiversal thing already, I guess it makes sense that some of that stuff kind of comes out here. So, I guess that's it. Unless you got something else to go off on.
No, that's it for this book.
All right. Do we want to do zip? Amazing.
Sure, we will move on to Amazing. Just give me a moment, and I'll pull it right up. Amazing Spider-Man #2 is written by Zeb Wells, with pencils by John Romita Jr., inks by Scott Hanna, colors by Marcio Meniz, and letters by our favorite lettering paisan, VC's Joe Caramagna. So this is the second issue of this newly rebooted Amazing Spider-Man, which is moving the story from the ending of the previous run on Amazing Spider-Man by 5 months, I think it is.
Something like that.
Yeah, 6 months. Yeah, it's moving it up by 6 months. And some things have changed because at the end of the previous run, we had Peter Parker in a very distinctly non-Parker luck place.
Right. He was in a pretty good place at the end of that, and then only to turn it around.
Right. And it seems that the Parker luck has turned for the Parker luck way. It has turned the way Parker luck normally turns, and we are left with a little bit of a mystery. It's very similar to what Donny Cates has done in the Hulk, where there's some sort of triggering event that leads our hero down a certain path, and we're left wondering what that was. In this case, it's something that causes MJ and Peter to become estranged, and to have Peter as Spider-Man be on the outs with a lot of his normal allies. It pushes him into the crosshairs of one Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone, and we have some Tombstone-centric storytelling here, also involving the White Rabbit. It's interesting to see the White Rabbit take on an increased role and having more increased visibility. Now I'm not surprised that they gave her a Marvel Legends figure. I know that she was in whatchamacallit, Kraven's Last Hunt storyline.
Oh, that last one. Yes.
Yeah, not the Last Hunt, but the Kraven's Hunt or whatever that was.
Right. I can't remember what it was.
I know that she was in that, but I was always curious as to why the White Rabbit got a Marvel Legend. But now it's interesting to see that she is at least playing a decent role in this, current storyline. Mm-hmm. And so, it's this is just another chapter in the unfolding story of what this new status quo for Spider-Man really is.
Right. And yeah, and because of the fact that, as you said, it's gone down deeper into the Parker look. I love how Norman Osborn kind of not only picks up on it, he kind of, in his own way, kind of mentions that. Like, well, when he walks in, he was like, "Well, this is normal."
Right. Kind of rubbing it in. Good job, Norman.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, yeah, way to be the dink. Um, and I guess because of that, we start to see shades of where we have been teased to be going with the storyline with in relation to or at least it can be assumed as Dutch with Norman Osborn and Peter, although I didn't suspect that what happened in the course of this issue was going to be the way that happened. So basically Norman came by to Peter's to ask him a favor, or to, I guess, call in a marker, because of the fact that at some point that we did not know, we haven't seen yet, Norman helped Peter or Spider-Man. Well, I'm assuming it's Peter at this point. But it's, according to the footnote, we don't know what that is. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what wasn't it the last storyline that we just got out of? Because there was a lot of that, and there was an allusion to that also when another footnote that happened. So I guess that wasn't it. So I guess whatever it is that Norman helped Peter with, I guess it's something we're going to see at some point.
Right.
So, but but that's basically, as the Peter's indebted to Norman, I guess, and he ends up doing something for Norman, which is kind of funny. Before going off to be Spidey, and we're also getting classic Tombstone seemingly coming back into the fold because of what happened in this and last issue. So, which is it's going to cause some issue. Well, has already caused some issue for Spidey. Let's just say at the end of this issue. But yeah, overall.
I was just gonna say, it's like the next chapter in like this opening arc of trying to figure out, where Spidey is now, like in the grand scheme of things.
Right. I feel like this is well, I guess given what happened at the end of this issue, we are pretty much going to see a Hawkeye / Thor like, hey, I need a new suit. That's a little bit more armored, or whatever the case may be.
You think so?
I think that this might be what ends up, being the cause of him getting a new suit. It just kind of reeks of it, because like I said, we've seen it with Thor, we've seen it with Hawkeye, we've seen it with Spidey before. Heck.
So, yeah, I mean, come on, how many variant Spider-Man action figures do we need, right?
Right.
More, apparently.
Right. So I guess we'll find out for certain in the next issue or two, unless they plan on teasing it out. But I feel like that one's kind of you can pretty much call it on that one, because he was not in good shape at the end of this issue. So I can't imagine that not being the case. And if not, hey, I'm happy to be wrong.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Amazing Spider-Man. So, like I said, we're still on the hook for this one. Definitely not reading Savage Spider-Man, which also came out this week. I'm done with that book.
I did notice that. I was like, yeah, I'm out. No, I'm not even looking at that.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. You had me, Casey. You had me for a minute, and then you pull that mess. Although there is a kind of morbid curiosity, but no, I didn't read the last issue, and I'm not doing it. Not doing it at all. All right. One more book, and then we guess we're going to the rapids. Moon Knight.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the last book that we have in common, and then we're going to diverge and talk about the other books that we read. So, Moon Knight number 11 is written by Jed MacKay with art by Alessandro Cappuccio, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit. You want to start this, and then I'll pick it up from there?
Sure. it seems like they're wrapping either. It feels more like they're wrapping up this volume, and than just the storyline. And maybe it's because we've kind of been into this place before. It was like, yeah, things are starting to kind of get wrapped up, and there doesn't seem to have been any leads to going any further than this, but I could very well be wrong. Could very well be wrong. But we see Moon Knight, Tigra, and I guess what's his name, Winter, going after Jigsaw and to save the life of Mark's psychiatrist, uh, who's being held by Jigsaw, who's under the employ of Zodiac. So we pretty much get the dealing with of the Jigsaw kidnapping slash getting the doctor back, and then going into what is going to be seemingly a confrontation with Zodiac. Not sure for the last time, but for this time coming. Also, there was a weird. I don't know if you noticed this or not, and maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but I felt like there was a slight Marvel's Moon Knight kind of tie here in part of the resolution.
I sense that. I did sense that.
Mm-hmm. Because Mark ends up making a deal because he has to get somewhere, and he had to make a deal which I'm sure he didn't want to make, and that puts him back into the service of who.
Right. And there were even hints of a little bit of fan service with Tigra, where she essentially voices the thoughts of the Marvel Comics fandom while watching the Moon Knight TV show. So do you have your Mooncopter or like your moons or moon cycle or moon whatever? Do you have any of that stuff? He's like, no.
Right. Like I got none of that. Yeah, because the one part we forgot about, the one part that has come up like well before now was like Zodiac cleaned out all of his money anyway. So whether he had any of that anyway, he had no access to get them, I guess. And that realistically, he hadn't had any of that stuff in a good minute as of the comics. So, but yeah, when she brought that up, it was like that was funny.
What I was going to say, this is coming off of the Age of Khonshu.
Correct.
Right. So, none of that stuff had made any sorts of appearance. Even the money aspect had not made any sorts of appearance in a long time.
Correct. Right. Oh, and speaking of actually that, so the reason why Tigra was there was because she was spying on Mark for the Avengers, which we knew about this because the readers knew about this, but apparently we assumed Mark didn't know, but apparently he did. And that all came out in this issue, and it's like, yeah, I knew, and we're friends. We were friends since the West Coast Avengers things, and blase, and like, yeah, I knew, but it was all good. Let's keep going. So that was another one of the things. Was like, yeah, they're really trying to tie some stuff up. So I can only assume that the next issue is going to be the last part of this arc. Maybe the last volume of this book. I don't know because I haven't read the solicits to know if there's anything else coming for Moon Knight.
Yeah, I don't have any recollection of an announcement that Moon Knight was ending.
Right.
And as you said, I don't recall seeing if there's going to be like a Moon Knight 13 or 14 coming up.
Right.
I'd have to go back and we'd have to go back and double check the solicitations. So it's interesting that it does seem like they're kind of wrapping things here. I'd make the same comment about Philadelphia. I'll talk about that book later on in Rapid Fire, but it seemed like we're kind of rapidly getting towards a conclusion in that book, and I guess it seems like we might be getting to one in this book as well.
Mm-hmm. To which, hey, the Moon Knight show has come and gone at this point, so if they were going to do it, this would be about the time to do it. But at the same time, like, hey, Moon Knight's a good character. Keep him around, if they have somebody with stories to write them, obviously, don't just
Exactly. If they have good stories to tell, I think that is a sensibility that or a way of thinking that has evolved when it
Mhm.
comes to comic book stories and comic book publishing, where sometimes putting out filler arcs and filler material, much like anime, just isn't worth it, and they would much rather reap the benefits of having a new number one as opposed to just continuing to put out maybe subpar stories until someone has a really good pitch.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's a different publishing model, and for the long timers like us, for the people of a certain vintage, it still takes some getting used to. We definitely lean towards the idea that they're just looking to milk the whole number one issue sales boost and
Mhm.
bump. But at the same time, the other side of that coin is not having to deal with weaker filler stories as they're looking for an eye-catching, attention-grabbing pitch for a story.
Yeah. It's still kind of hard though, because as you said, we come from an era where there in certain cases were continuous stories and continuous, like the books just went on and on and on and on. Whether they were good or not, good is subjective, but still, like there were books just kept going, story, and no
Right.
stopping.
Right. Well, I mean, there's the we obviously were part of an age when certain creators were on a book for a long, long time,
Exactly.
or at least were given the reins to tell like a 25 or 30 story arc,
Hmm.
and then hand the book off to somebody else.
Right.
So it's different times, man, different times.
This is true. But yeah, that was Moon Knight number 11. Like I said, we'll see if anything we just said about the ending of the arc slash volume is the case coming up. And I guess with that, we can go into a rapid fire.
You got it.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Well, since I don't really have to worry about getting covers, I guess I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way.
Sure.
So I don't have as many books. Still got to type them in though, but that's just that. Batman Beyond the White Knight number 3. Script and art by Sean Murphy. Or I guess I don't know if he's going by Sean Gordon Murphy anymore, but I guess, yeah. But colors by Dave Stewart and letters by Andor Design. So this is in the world of the. I guess this is considered an Elseworld slash Black Level. In the world of uh, Batman the White Knight, which I highly recommend because I think this is probably personally one of the better Batman stories that I've read, or at least series of books. Anyway, there's a couple of them that's a little weak, but as a whole, the story in itself is really good. In this particular case, the Beyond the White Knight storyline that goes where excuse me, goes where do you expect it to, into Batman Beyond territory. So Terry Mcguiness shows up, steals the Batsuit, the Batman Beyond suit for Derek Powers, who he's working for. Derek Powers apparently there's also who apparently after Bruce Wayne went to jail, um, helped rebuild the city, and is now almost neo Gotham looking sort of, but also looks more like future state Gotham, because there's this police force called the GTO, where Dick Grayson is kind of the head of at this point, and that's been a kind of a long running thing in this in this world, or at least getting to that point. But the GTO is kind of like the future state cops in a way. Uh, uh, but of course, like I said, there was a whole thing. Batman went rogue, and Joker died, or so support died. But even though the Joker's back in his book for some reason, in Bruce Wayne's head, and a few different things are going on in this world, and I'm kind of digging it. Like I said, the whole Terry McGinnis and the Batman Beyond thing is one part of it. Um, but also the fact that Bruce Wayne, who was in jail up until this happened, is now out of jail, except for at the end of this book. We don't know what's going on with him now because um, of a couple of things that happened. Well, what happened at the end of this book, which I will not spoil, but there are certain elements at play going on in here, including the fact that, like I said, Terry Mcguiness is being misled by this Derek Powers person. Bruce Wayne's like, nah, yeah, Derek Powers is no good, and he got to be stopped, and I guess vice versa, and there's some bad blood between a few key people here, and apparently found out in this issue that Harley Quinn and Bruce Wayne were at one point married because of some events that happened in this world, and I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. Like I said, there was this the whole story in this, and we didn't even get to see that. Like, this was something that just came out between the end of last issue and the beginning of this one. Even Jack Napier, who is the Joker, who was the Joker of this world, didn't even know that. He was like, "Wait, I feel like I missed something at the end of last issue," which is kind of funny. And I was saying the same thing when I read it. But yeah, it's like I said, it's some good stuff, and I kind of recommend it. It is not quote unquote canon, I guess you could say, but it is still a good read. It doesn't necessarily have to be canon or in the Prime universe to be good stories. And I would recommend, you would have to go back to the beginning to kind of catch up on some things, but you can kind of get some things out of this miniseries. So that's Batman Beyond the Dark Knight. Next up is Aquaman 4, which is script by Chuck Brown and Brandon Thomas, pencils by Sammy Basri and Vicente Cifuentes, colors by Adriano Lucas, and letters by End World Design. I can't remember how many issues of Aquaman are left. I think it's 6. I'm not sure, but basically, we have the coming together of Aquaman, Black Manta, Jackson Hyde, Aquaman, Mera, and Tempest, and I can't remember what the other ladies are. But rather, there's this whole overreaching plot that there are Atlantean sleeper agents that have been waking up and causing havoc on the surface world. And Aquaman, Arthur Curry, and Black Manta has been checking out in kind of secret, but now things are kind of all coming out in the wash. And Jackson Hyde's kind of been doing his own thing, and now he's kind of in the fold, much to the chagrin, because he doesn't want to work with his dad, who's Black Manta, obviously. But they seem to be coming to an understanding in this issue, and they're now planning to try to continue to disrupt the plot, or disrupting whatever is going on with why these sleeper agents have been awoken, and even though they've ended what caused them to go rogue in the first, I mean, to start coming out in the first place, but there are still a bunch that are still kind of waking up even after they stopped whatever signal was causing them to wake up. But so yeah, there's a whole big plot that that we still don't know part of coming out of this, and there seems to be some foreshadowing, or at least that's the way I take it, because of a light moment that happened in the course of this issue. But we'll see if that comes to play in the coming issues. How many more, wherever they might be. Next up. Sorry, I'm typing in some stuff at the same time, folks, so forgive me for the clackety clacks if you can hear that. And if you can't, hey, ignore me. Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 3. So yeah, the Power Rangers are outnumbered. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Story by Cullen Bunn, art by Freddie Williams II, colors by Andrew Dalhouse, letters by Johanna Natalie. So yeah, like I said, the Rangers are outnumbered. They're the fight seemingly going bad until Godzilla comes back into play, but he doesn't care who he's hitting. So that kind of a thing's coming on. Rita's plotting to not only get Tommy back underneath her spell, but also betray the Planet X folks that are trying to also take over the Earth. So there's that whole thing going on with this. But it seems because of the intervention of Godzilla in the most Godzilla way, the tide of the battle may be turning, with the exception of an intervention that Rita brought forth at the end of this. I think I'm trying to remember. This might be 5 issues. That's the way most of these things pretty much go. So we got a couple of issues left. It's been fun. I can safely say that it's been some fun so far. Let's see, Captain Carter #3, written by Jamie McElvey, art by Marika Cresta, color artist at Matt Miller, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. So at the end of last issue, Elizabeth Braddock was getting attacked at her home, but she has taken care of that. So the one thing I did not know going into this is whether wow, what's up?
Oh no, I was just thinking about something.
Oh, Betsy Braddock, wasn't sure whether Betsy Braddock had her telekinetic powers, and apparently she does. I don't know if they just popped up here because you never used them before now in this particular universe, or I guess multiverse, as it were. But yeah, she ends up using them and gets a call out to Peggy. Because there are some shenanigans going on in the realm in Strike, which is pretty much the UK's version of Shield. Not surprisingly, a similar thing that happened with Shield, where there are some issues inside of Shield, aka Strike. In this particular instance, some things are going on, and they're trying to get down to the bottom of it. And they might have found out that someone they've been dealing with is not who they say they are, but there's some stuff that they're still dealing with, and that. And I know this one is 5 issues, so we only got a couple more issues left going on in this miniseries. And last but not least, Teen Titans Academy #15, which I believe is the last. Is the last issue of this book. The main thing I can say about it, because now that I think about it, I kind of read it, and I think I may have missed what happened the issue before last, because there was looking like the kids had gone off to free Shazam, aka Captain Marvel, and some other things that was going on, while the Titans themselves are were one, trying to find them, 2, I guess, trying to reopen the school, and 3, trying to split apart Cyborg and Changeling, aka Beast Boy, who had been melted together some kind of way, which that part kind of got taken care of in the course of this issue, but it's still kind of a thing. There was this other character called Chupacabra who must have broken off from the rest of the folks. And I think this is where we get a nice George Perez tribute with him and his uncle, who I guess he found in the pages of this, whose name is George, Jorge, who's an artist. Go figure. So, and there was a nice little conversation between these two before they went their separate ways. And which I like I said, I think serves as a nice tribute to George Perez. So if you check this issue out, check it out for that, if anything else. And I think because I don't remember what happened at the end of this book now that I'm thinking about it, but I think this is pretty much it. For this book, we were wondering whether this book was going to end at some point, because this book started in sometime around Future State, if I'm not mistaken. Thereby, so we wasn't sure how long this book was going to have any legs, or whether they're going to try to keep it Strange Academy style. Which, hey, we hadn't seen that book in a minute. Now that I think about it, but
no, they went on summer vacation. Remember?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
No, they actually already told us that. They said, "Oh, this is our last issue before we go on like a brief summer hiatus."
Oh, okay. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, but you remember now that I mention it, right?
Right. So, but yeah, nevertheless, like I said, this that tribute to George Perez. Obviously, Teen Titans artist, legend, one would say.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so that tribute. I think has spanned over 2 issues.
I think that's the case.
Because
Because, like I said,
if I recall correctly, that George character first appeared like on a plane,
right.
and that was I think in the previous issue. So I guess this is like the character's second appearance now.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember reading that last issue. So that's why I need to go back and check that out. But I do for some strange reason remember that the person coming up. I don't know how. So yeah, that's it, and that is it for me.
Who is the artist on this Teen Titans? It looks like there's multiple artists.
Oh, I'm sorry. Written by Tim Sheridan, art by Tom Derenick. Colors by Peter. Yeah, colors by Peter Pantazis and Matt Helms, and letters by Rob Lee. Oh, and 87 had to roll out for a second, so I'm just going to skim something really quickly.
I'm back.
Okay.
All right. That's your last book, right?
That was my last book, yes.
All right. So let me rapid fire through my books. All right. Here we go. So first up for me is Philadelphia number 22. It's written by Rodney Barnes with art by Jason Sean Alexander, Herman Eramuspe, and Nicole Palmquist. Colors by Louise Nicht, and letters by Marshall Dillon. So I have been a proponent of this Philadelphia book from the start, and just as a quick refresher, if you are a fan of American history and the musical Hamilton, there are definite there are definite influences from that, and Philadelphia is definitely of the supernatural bent. This book seems to be hurtling towards a finale, but it's hard to say. It could just be the ending of the current volume, but it seems like they're building to some sort of finale in issue number 25. So we're at issue number 22, so that means we have a few more issues to build up to the big issue 25. So there's not much to say when it comes to how everything is going to kind of come together without spoiling everything. But I will say that it does seem to be building up to a big flourish in issue number 25. So it still carries a very high approval rating from me, and this issue does not disappoint. But it does, this is a terrible issue to pick up as a first-time reader, because there's definitely a lot going on, and you're going to miss out on a lot of the connective tissue that really provides a lot of the depth to this story if you're just picking up this issue and having missed the first 21. Next up is Devil's Reign Omega #1. The main story is written by Chip Zdarsky and with art by Marco Cacchetto. There are 2 other stories in here, but the main point, the thrust of this book is to basically wrap up some of the loose ends, some of the loose plot threads that exist after the last issue of the Devil's Reign limited series, the 6-issue limited series. And now we have the current or the new status quo of New York City being established for the street level characters, namely the OG heroes for hire, Jessica Jones, Daredevil 1 and Daredevil 2, that being Matt Murdock and Elektra Natchios. That is the new status quo for those 2 characters. And so, we have 3 stories in this book that basically take us into that new direction. One to help lead off the new Daredevil book, another to basically kickstart the new Thunderbolts book, and the other to just deal with hold on, I know the third one also serves as a lead-in, so I apologize. My memory is failing me in this regard, so I'm just going to click through our preview copy very quickly to refresh my memory. That's right. So there's Daredevils, Thunderbolts, and I want to see what the third story leads into. Or is that it? I could have sworn it was 3. Bear with me, folks. Yeah, Thunderbolts, Daredevil. Oh, I could swear that it was that they were leading into a third one. But those, I guess, are the 2 main points that they are leading, using this book to kind of jumpstart and lead into. Yeah. Okay. And also, helping to establish Luke Cage as the new mayor of New York City. Next up for me is Hulk number 7. It's written by Donny Cates with art by Martin Coccolo, colors by Matt Wilson, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit. So this is the latest chapter in the Banner of War crossover between Hulk and Thor, as both books are being written by Donny Cates. There are some interesting things that happen in this issue, but it's mostly a slobber knocker. Shout out to good old JR of wrestling announcing fame. Between Celestial Armor Iron Man, and if you think that's pretty crazy, it is. The newly Odin powered, King Thor, basically, and the Hulk, whose power levels are basically cranked up to 11 in this. Shout out to oh my God, what is that fake documentary called?
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Thank you. It told that name totally. I've actually never watched that, but I know that's a Spinal Tap reference.
Yeah, neither have I.
So it's funny what enters the pop culture lexicon, right? So,
yep.
It's interesting to see the Hulk's power levels being expanded upon here in this series, and there is a surprise development involving Thor in this Hulk issue. So, it was interesting. And I was telling Roddykat before that this issue was fun. It was definitely fun because we didn't have the Invincible artist, whose name always escapes me because I'm not a fan, drawing this issue.
Ryan Otley.
Yep, I'm not a fan. So, all right. Next up is Legion of X number 1. It's written by Cy Spurrier with art by Jan Basil-Dua, colors by Federico Blee, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowell. So, in the wake of the Way of X not really catching fire, we now have the latest Nightcrawler-led book, but it has a definite shift in priorities, a definite shift in story, because now Nightcrawler is, and it's kind of hard to describe, he's a lawman. He's not exactly 5-0. He's not exactly the po-po. He's not exactly a pig or bacon, all the bad slang that that we've used to refer to police before. He's a little bit more like some sort of enforcement agent, maybe a Fed type, special agent. It's not, like the day-to-day policing that Nightcrawler's group does. And it's just a very offbeat story. I think Roddykat will enjoy it. It's definitely, I at least in my opinion, I think it's definitely up his alley.
Okay.
And last but not least is Punisher number 3. So this is surprisingly a very entertaining book. If you're not keeping up with this current iteration of the Punisher has been recruited to lead the Hand, the traditional ninja cult. And it's interesting because one, the current storyline in Daredevil has Elektra basically recruiting Matt Murdock yet again to take on the Hand, but this time for real, seriously. So I'm wondering if the two of them will be running into Frank Castle as the head of the Hand in the very near future. So there's some convenient retcons that have happened in the first two issues of The Punisher, and now we have another one in issue number 3, which kind of implies that, much like Khonshu in the pages of Moon Knight, the Beast, the supernatural character that is the head of the Hand, has been following the exploits of Frank Castle since he was a child, and basically been, if not grooming him, observing him with a lot of interest as he developed into basically what they would call like the killer of all killers, and someone to lead the Hand. And, you know, if there is one thing that is a little predictable, is how and why Frank Castle would throw in with this group of killers. It does have something to do with magic, and something to do with what might actually make Frank Castle happy. So it is, you know, it's predictable in that sense, but at the same time, I'm curious to see how Aaron pulls this off. The art by Jesus Saiz is definitely a draw. Let me click into this issue and get the rest of the creative team, because I did not have a chance to type it in before the show. But listen, I've had some fun reading this. So it's actually the art is by Jesus Saiz and Paul Azaceta. Colors are by Dave Stewart, and letters by VC's Cord Pettit. As I said earlier, it's written by Jason Aaron. So that's the gist of The Punisher. There is some, there's some definite payoff that's going to come up. You know, it's weird to see Frank dealing with some supernatural stuff. I may have mentioned this before, but there's a certain Greek god of war that plays a role in this. It wouldn't be the first time this particular character has kind of mucked it up in earthly matters. Although, I kind of remember him being torn in half by the Sentry, so I forget how he got put back together again, like Humpty Dumpty. I do. I'll have to Google that and see if I can't. I probably read the book where he got put back together again, and by all the king's horses and all the king's men. I just don't remember it. So, bottom line is that is the last book for me. So we can roll into Kliqs of the week.
And by the way, I believe there was, at least I've seen an article stating that, Daredevil and the Punisher and Elektra will definitely butt heads at some point.
It makes all the sense in the world, especially how it's being set up.
Right. So, Kliqs of the week. We did not get anything from our other co-hosts. I don't believe. We did not. So, here we go. I don't know. You got yours?
I have a couple of candidates, and they're surprising candidates.
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed this issue of Moon Knight. Right, Moon Knight number 11. The Punisher number 3 is actually a surprising candidate as well. I did enjoy Philadelphia number 22. What's messed up about Philadelphia is now that it almost seems like there are too many characters running around that demand screen time. Obviously several of the characters are from the Revolutionary era of the United States. And so there are very many characters with obvious name recognition who need a little bit of screen time and speaking time. So it almost seems like things are a little crowded in the pages of Philadelphia. So those are some of my candidates. I actually liked Hulk number 7. Because of the fact that the Invincible artist, whose name I can never remember, wasn't drawing it. So it proved to be very entertaining as well.
Gotcha.
So those are my thoughts. So I've got a bunch of decent choices to choose from. What about you?
I know I had fun with Avengers 56. Um, Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers also good. Batman Beyond of White Knight number 3 um was definitely pretty good. Some things kind of came together in that one. Um, I know there was a couple of books that I wish I had a chance to read that I was going to read, like Legion of X. I kind of wanted to get around to that one, but I didn't get a chance to. That Teen Titans Academy 15, which was a nice, with that tribute to Joe Perez, definitely good. Even at the outset of it, 'cause I just skimmed while you were talking. I just kind of skimmed the end of that book to see what happened. So, um, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting time this week for books. Probably if I were to pare that list down a little bit, it would probably be between Avengers and Teen Titans Academy. I feel like I can see that at this point. With the Batman book kind of being on the front of that, but it would definitely be those ones. So and I kind of feel this is probably not fair, because if I were to give it a Teen Titans, it would be on the strength of that Perez tribute, and not anything else that happened in that book. Which, parts of a book is as good as the whole, but at the same time, it is subjective one way or the other. So, this is a weirdly hard pick this week. I don't know.
Yeah, because there were some decent reads. It's just that I'm having trouble committing to a choice.
Yeah.
For Kliq of the week, like entertainment wise, I think Hulk and Moon Knight were pretty good. But I actually did like where the Punisher was going. But I think I'm going to make a decision, and I am going with. I'm going to go with Hulk number 7, just because it was just entertaining. I really liked Moon Knight number 11 though.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty good read also. I think I'm going to come down on Avengers 56. Like, I kind of enjoyed the Jane Foster team up that happened in that book. And I guess what it could be teasing at the outset of it. Definitely read that Teen Titans Academy number 15 though. I probably, if you want to know a little bit more about the character that is being used as a tribute, I guess you might have to go back to the previous issue, but you probably don't really, if you just wanted to get that part out of it. I think you can be all right. I feel like it did a pretty decent job of kind of setting the pace on that one between the two characters that were talking and what they were getting out of it. So, yeah, go for it. And that's it, folks. Kliqs of the week. Let's get into an ad read.
Our first ad read of the night is for Wink, the personalized wine club. Wink is a world of wine delivered right to your door. From rosé to Cabernet to Torrontés, Wink has over 100 styles of wine to discover. Have you ever tried an orange wine? Wink connects you to a world of exclusive wines tailored to your taste and delivered directly to your door. Wink delivers 4 bottles of wine to you every month with free shipping. You can pick your own bottles or let Wink choose and match to your taste. It doesn't cost a thing to become a member, and you can skip or cancel anytime. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy an exclusive discount of $20 off your first order. To place your first order with $20 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us/wink. That's cspn.us/WINC. Wink wines through CSPN. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
Cinematic news. We're starting off with Miss Marvel star responds to MCU powers change backlash. Um. So yeah, Iman Vellani responds to fan backlash regarding the changes to the character's powers. Actually, I'm gonna. Where's the quote here? Because I'm just gonna skip to that because I thought it was a pretty good response. I'm. Oh yeah, it says. But in a new interview from SFX magazine, Vellani responds to the fan backlash over the powers change, explaining that ultimately it's the character's journey that matters the most. Vellani even jokes that Kamala could shoot sausages out of her fingers, and she couldn't care less as long as it stays true to the character's journey of self-discovery, which is the tweet that I saw, which I thought was kind of amusing.
Right. I mean, if they were pork sausages, that might be a problem.
Yes, indeed.
Just saying.
You're
just saying.
You are correct. But the actual quote is
no pork sausages, Mom.
Nice. I'm very possessive of Kamala.
I don't mind pork sausages, but some people do.
I am one of those people who does, and I'm not even Muslim. So, but yeah, the quote is, "I'm very possessive of Kamala. I think we stay true to what the comics brought. The themes have always been about the identity and about marrying the 50 million things that make Kamala. For all I care, she could shoot sausages out of her fingers, and as long as she still goes on that self-discovery journey." End quote. So, cool beans. You know what? Yeah, like I said, I'm still looking forward to seeing this. Like we've been braced for the change in her in the powers long enough to where like either you're gonna be all right with it or you're not. Like at this point, it's not gonna matter. Next up,
I was about to say that's probably in the long line in the long run of this podcast. That might be our first DOS FX reference. It might be.
That's probable. That is quite probable.
It might be. It's it's kind of interesting. It's taken us this long. Alrighty, next up. A new Daredevil series is in the works at Disney Plus. According to Variety, Covert Affairs duo Matt Corman and Chris Ord are attached to write and executive produce a series that will once again bring the Man Without Fear into the Marvel fold. So the MCU's already established Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in the MCU. So it stands to reason that this was kind of a no-brainer.
Yep. Hey, guess what, folks? You may have seen this by now, but there was a new trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder, just released a couple of days before this recording. Did you get a chance to check it out?
Yes. Yes. No, we were talking about it because there's a particular scene in which Thor is disrobed, and there's apparently a not safe for work scene that was blurred out in the trailer that I saw.
Right.
And I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on the fact that Chris Hemsworth apparently is so yoked and so jacked.
Yeah, he's ripped.
That he almost looks like a comic book drawing in real life.
It's like the training that the character was doing in the trailer was the actual stuff he was probably doing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a good trailer. Yeah, and I know there has been speculation as to whether that part is still going to be blurred out in the movie or not. I'm like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter to me, but I know that there's a certain portion of the fan base that really cares about that particular thing. So, and I definitely hear them at the theater. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. You could probably hear them right now if you listen close enough. Honestly, let's be honest. And that the one scene where Valkyrie and Jane Foster kind of sitting there watching this, like that was kind of fun, and just to see them together is pretty cool. But yeah, that trailer coming out July 8th. We only got a little while longer before that movie comes out. I am sitting here debating. I know I didn't do it. Well, technically I didn't do it, but we did it worked out. Well, actually, it didn't work out the way I planned it, because honestly, I was supposed to go see it the week prior, Doctor Strange the week that it came out, but ended up seeing before we recorded the next time. Actually, I
Right,
skipped a
right,
week for the first time in a while.
because of movie protocol.
Right, but I don't know. I'm debating. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's gonna be on Thursday night, but I might try to hit a earlier matinee than what I did this time. We'll
All
see.
right.
We'll see. Next up, though.
All right, so next up, Dwayne Johnson has shared an intimidating behind the scenes photo of himself as the forthcoming DC Extended Universe movie lead character, Black Adam. And yeah, that's basically him just looking like a tough guy.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the thing he's that they got under him. You know, you got to protect the jewels, man. And I don't know what that. I suspect the thing's supposed to lift him up or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I hope the thing's padded. Regardless, so yeah, if you're watching the video, you're seeing the picture in question. Sure, there you go. That thing is still a thing. Latest image from Netflix's Sandman gives us our best look at Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer. So if you're watching the video version of this program, you can see the picture in question. I understand there was some fan backlash, I guess, because of the casting and whatnot. I don't know. I don't care. I've never read anything on Sandman. So I couldn't tell you whether it was good or not. Go figure. I like Gwendolyn Christie though, so hopefully she'll be all right. I'm not gonna watch it, I don't think. Next up,
so the CW has unveiled a first look at their newest show, Gotham Knights, which is focused on Gotham City after the death of Batman. The photo was posted to Twitter by showrunner Natalie Abrams, as well as the official Gotham Knights Twitter page. The first look shows off the main cast members, including Oscar Morgan as Turner Hayes, Tyler DiChiara as Cullen Bow, Navia Robinson as Carrie Kelly, Fallon Smythe as Harper Row, and Olivia Rose Keegan as Duella. The show features the children of Batman's famous villains as well. Okay.
yeah, it's very based off this picture. Looks very CW.
Yeah.
So, speaking of CW, Legends of Tomorrow's Katie Lotz reveals scrapped season 8 plans. So, as folks may know, Legends of Tomorrow has been canceled, unceremoniously, I guess you could say. But speaking at Motor City Comic Con during a panel with fellow Arrowverse star Katie Cassidy, Lotz discussed her history with the series following its sudden cancellation, as well as plot points that would have been explored in the planned season 8. I know one of those would have happened to be Donald Faison's Booster Gold, which was a last minute addition that apparently didn't work out the way they planned it. So yeah, it goes on to that. I'm not gonna read into what she's reading, but it's in the show notes, and you can check that out for yourself. Next.
Alrighty, Mindy Kaling recently shared the first look at her upcoming animated Scooby-Doo spin-off series, Velma. The series is described as a comedic origin story focusing on Velma Jinkies. The first image shows the titled character discovering a dead body, and it also has an image of Daphne, who seems to have just jumped out of the shower. In a Variety interview, Kaling also addressed the fact that Velma in this version is a woman of color. And she says, hopefully you noticed her Velma is South Asian, and she doesn't care if people freak out about that. Good for her.
Yeah, she's never cared. Speaking of Velma and multiverses, which I didn't get a chance to play any of it, Velma is in that thing as a playable character, apparently, which is a interesting choice for a Smash Brothers like brawler. Shaggy is also in it, but let's go figure on that. And I've seen some gameplay of it. It's kind of amusing. Next up, though, anyway, actually speaking on the Scooby-Doo front, Scooby-Doo's first preschool series reinvents Mystery Inc. as puppies. So there's a new show coming from HBO Max and Cartoon Network that was recently announced in the Scooby-Doo franchise, because you got to have one every year or else we all go to hell. It's called Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Pups. The upcoming series will feature the local talent of vocal talents, not local, of Frank Welker and Matthew Lillard as Scooby and Shaggy, which I know Frank Welker's been playing Scooby for the last decade or so, which is kind of funny. Frank Megatron Welker.
Yep.
Been playing Scooby and actually Fred, now that I think about it. Scooby and Fred for like the last 10, 20 years or so, something like that. Anyway, the two will join the 3D animated series as camp counselors who lead a new crew comprised of puppies on mystery-solving adventures at a sleepaway camp. The series is expected to debut in 2022. It weirdly reminds me, puts me in mind of what's the Scooby-Doo Kids one? I don't remember. There was probably a couple of them. Pup named Scooby-Doo. That's what it was. I feel like it kind of reminds me that's probably not what it is, though. And Pound Puppies, because we all know. Hey, remember the Pound Puppies? Remember that fact they had the show? You had to be of a certain vintage, folks. Next up.
Goodness gracious. All right. WandaVision's Matt Shakman is set to direct a Godzilla Apple TV Plus series. Let's see here. Shakman will direct the first 2 episodes of the series and serve as executive producer. There is not yet a full title for the show available, which Apple TV Plus refers to as Godzilla and the Titans, while also still calling it the Untitled Monsterverse series. Okay.
Yeah, I guess they're still trying to do that. Pluto TV adds new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers channel content to Forever Kids channel. So yeah, Pluto TV is a streaming service where you can see a lot of streaming TV channels. There's one for Stargate. We talked about that one before, and other channels. Blah 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 blah. They're adding Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which the original joint, season or 2, and is apparently first season will be streaming on the Forever Kids channel Monday through Fridays at 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and every weekend, Saturday, Sunday Saturday at 11 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. and Sundays at 1 p.m. and 12 a.m. Eastern, all Eastern times. So go Power Rangers. Next.
Speaking of the Power Rangers, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers lineup is set to be returning in their entirety to the small screen for the franchise's 30th anniversary. According to the Illuminati, Hasbro has reportedly asked all remaining members of the OG Power Rangers team to return for an anniversary special to celebrate Power Rangers' 30-year milestone. 30-year milestone.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. You know what?
Hey, hey, if you think that's bad, the Sentai series that is based off of is way older than that.
Oh my goodness.
So, and that's the RUS version.
Right, and unfortunately, we've already lost the original Yellow Ranger, Tui Trang, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, because of the next story, we probably won't get the Red Ranger in this one either, because Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger, has been charged with wire fraud by the DOJ, and in addition to 18 other people in the federal indictment with violations of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in the Eastern District of Texas. St. John, whose real name is Jason Lawrence Geiger, which is kind of funny given Jason David Frank, is now the show's, well, y'all like I said, you know who it is. And they're still waiting on details for the charges according to this article. So it says that the defendants have either been arrested or summoned for appearance before a federal magistrate court. If convicted, the 18 charge could be facing up to 20 years in prison. So, yeah. I won't go into the indictment in here, but you can read that for yourself. Next up.
Alrighty, Star Trek franchise has gotten its first female composer as Nami Malumad visits Strange New Worlds. So she has been scoring the animated Star Trek Prodigy and now has stepped it up a notch into scoring weekly episodes of Strange New Worlds, the new Paramount Plus series that chronicles the voyages of the pre-Captain Kirk Enterprise. Okay, good for her.
Mm-hmm. Gremlin, Secret of the Mogwai delivers Mulan and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reunion, apparently. So there's going to be an animated Gremlins series on HBO Max, and which looks to explore the lore of the Mogwai and how these curious creatures could be a friend one day and an enemy next, according to this article. And the ties that are come from Ming-Na Wen, James Hong, and B.D. Wong, who are all voices in this this cast, and as well as a few others. Because I think I remember seeing either one of the showrunners or someone talking about this. It's a pretty good cast, and of mostly, if not all, Asian characters. So that's kind of dope. I don't know when this thing is going to be. It doesn't say here, I don't think. But yeah, anyway, that's it's coming at some point. I don't see when it is though. Next up.
Alrighty, so in an upcoming Star Wars Disney Plus original called The Acolyte, we get some news that the showrunner for The Acolyte is said to be a true aficionado of the Star Wars Expanded Universe, who will draw inspiration from sources never seen on screen before. Leslie Headland, who best known for her work producing and directing Netflix's Russian Doll, will reportedly utilize her deep knowledge of Star Wars lore when creating The Acolyte. Okay. Yeah, so she calls herself a major mega fan of Star Wars. The story is set in the era of the High Republic, which is 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
Yep. I thought it was a few hundred years, but regardless, yeah.
Or at least 100 years, I think it might be.
Yeah, yeah. Regardless, it's a long time. Speaking of Star Wars news, Star Wars Andor series first trailer has been released. Oh, by the way, folks, and I guess we're going to get to that. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. So I will hush right now. So yeah, 2022 is going to be a big year for Star Wars fans. You know what? I'll go ahead and say it. Today is the 26th, which is the first day of Star Wars Celebration, which is where this and other news is, other like news is coming out of. Star Wars Celebration, if you did not know, is a 4-day celebration of Star Wars. Though. It's a Star Wars convention. So there's going to be a lot more news coming up, which also is partially the reason why Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming out on the 27th, which is the day after we record on Friday. So we said last week we were going to be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, but no, because it's coming out after we record. Anyway, like I said, Star Wars Andor trailer is out there. I don't know if you saw it, Agent 70, or even care.
Oh, Andor story, the Andor one, I did.
Yeah.
Not that it means anything to me because, that Andor character was in Rogue One. And it's like, all right, so this is all new. It's interesting to see Dr. Eric Selvig in there.
I know, right? I saw that. I was like, oh, shoot. We got a Skarsgård in here.
They got the Elder Skarsgård.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, I couldn't remember Selvig's name. So I was like, yeah, Thor got his actual name. So yeah, this takes place, I think, obviously well before the events of Rogue One, because there is a certain finality in this character that was in that movie. So I'm not sure how long before the events this is. I would imagine it's like at least 10 years or so, but I don't know. It probably says so. Regardless, but that teaser trailer was out there. I'm like, sure, it looks all right. Next up.
Alrighty, so as Roddykat mentioned, Star Wars Celebration is going on right now. It's in Anaheim, and it's going to be held on the 26th through the 29th. You can join Star Wars Celebration live on the StarWars.com homepage or YouTube.com/Star Wars from 12:30 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday. the 26th and 12 p.m. Pacific time on subsequent days. There's also a Lucasfilm official live stream. There's gonna be, they're gonna have feature select panels along with celebrity guests on the live stage. Star Wars.com will publish panel recaps along with breaking news throughout the weekend. You can go find that on StarWars.com and the news and blog section of that webpage. And there'll be plenty of photo galleries, panels, and with photo galleries of panels and cosplayers and more on the StarWars.com homepage. So there's plenty of ways to follow what's going on at Star Wars Celebration, including staying tuned to the Comic Book Chronicles right now.
Indeed. Yeah. And I know Star Wars YouTube channel would usually keep a lot of the panels, records of the panels. So even if you miss today's panels and some of the stuff that will come throughout the weekend, some of that stuff will probably be on the YouTube channel, I'm sure, because they've been doing that for the last few years, even before COVID. So next up, though,
we're in Anime Corner right now.
We are in Anime Corner. Macross sequels get first U.S. release after a decades-long legal battle. So Macross Frontier will finally be released officially in the United States. Fathom Events announced that it will bring the two Macross Frontier movies, The False Songstress and The Wings of Farewell, to the United States with one-night special screenings. The two movies tell a loose adaptation of the 2008 Macross Frontier TV anime and feature a significant amount of new content. Both movies will be presented with their original Japanese audio tracks with English subtitles, the way God intended. The False Songstress will be screened on June 16th, while The Wings of Farewell will debut on June 30th. Next.
All right, Adult Swim reveals the first poster for a new anime, Ninja Kamui. So let's see here. All right, so this is an original anime series. This is Adult Swim working with the director of the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen on a bloody new series that goes by the name of Ninja Kamui. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's a date on this. It's not. It's just been announced. So
probably fall, but yeah, I don't know. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll let y'all know when we find out. One Piece reveal. Oh wait, we're getting into the manga section, which is going to the comic books news. Snooze. One Piece reveals Momo's surprising major save. So this comes from chapter 1,087 of One Piece. Actually, chapter 1049 to be exact. Sees Luffy nail Kaido with one final and powerful punch, and it looks like for now the Emperor has been defeated for good. The problem with that, and with Luffy launching that final punch, however, is that Luffy had put all of his faith into making sure that Momo was able to save somebody from falling. Look, there's some things happen. I don't know. One Piece has been going on forever and a day, and I couldn't tell you one thing except for dude in a straw hat and a big rubber fist body. Next.
One Punch Man's newest chapters have been exploring the final climax of the human monster saga, and the newest chapter of the series has set the stage for quite the surprising end of the fight between Saitama and Garou. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, so this is the manga, which, yeah, I know some people very few people will be surprised to know that that's still going on, even though the anime itself was only 12 episodes.
Right.
I don't think we're ever going to get any more, by the way, of the anime.
Really?
I don't think so.
That's interesting.
I have not heard. Let me rephrase that. I have not heard anything about it, and it's been like that. That thing's been out for a few years at this point, and since the manga's been out, still going on. It's kind of weird that we haven't. So go figure. The Riddler goes on a murderous, riddle-free tear in King and Gerard's The Next Batman Tale. Not the next Batman's tale, but the next Batman tale. DC announced Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler on the Twitter account, a new one-shot from Tom King and Mitch Gerads launching this August. Edward Nygma is meticulous until one day he suddenly starts killing at random, the post reads. Batman must race to figure out the motivations behind the Riddler's spree. Gerads also posted an announcement on his Twitter account. And with a quote, the graphic novel is my genuine long-time dream book, and King delivered the absolute perfect script for it. I've never been this excited to get a book into your midst. I've been putting everything I have into every page. End quote. Cool. Next.
Alrighty. What am I up to? DC unveils Superman's boyfriend's new superhero costume. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious. All right. So Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 14, gives Jay Nakamura, John Kent's boyfriend, his own super suit. Where's my super suit? On a cover showing off his powers alongside John Kent. Okay. So this is revealed in solicitations for August 2022.
Yep.
Looking for a picture. Oh, okay. So he's in green and white with pink hair. Oh, yeah.
Mike's is blue and green.
Oh, Wayfarers.
Wait, what?
Wayfarers.
Oh.
I had to look down. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like a teal. It's like a blue teal. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. But yeah,
Right.
if you're watching the video,
_70 is wearing darker sunglasses than normal today for this show.
right?
So I had to lift the sunglasses just a touch to see what the actual color of Nakamura's costume was.
Right. If you're watching the video, you can see the image for yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely a greenish blue though, so I wasn't too off.
DC Comics is about to kill Black Adam.
I mean, didn't they just kill the Justice League?
They did just kill the Justice League, but I suspect they're coming back, whether he will or not. Don't know. So yeah. So in this 2022, the Shazam villain joined the Justice League, and ahead of his theatrical debut, Black Adam will star in his own solo series, which has been written by Christopher Priest. In fact, I'm trying to remember if I put it in this clickbait section. I think I did. Yeah, there's an article. If you go to our clickbait section, there's an article from Games Radar that postulates that why Black Adam writer Christopher Priest thought DC would fire him. So go figure. But yeah, written by Christopher Priest with art by Rafa Sandoval. The title will explore the character's immortality fading away, forcing him to choose a worthy successor, which I think may have already happened if what I saw in Teen Titans Academy is to be believed. I am not sure, but actually no, I am pretty sure now that I think about it. But as revealed in the August 2022 solicitations for DC Comics, Black Adam number 3 will kill the fan favorite character, though his descendant Malik will try to bring him back to life, which sounds kind of familiar. Next.
All right, Green Lantern launches an all-out war on the Justice League's murderers. In Dark Crisis number 3 by writer Joshua Williamson and artist Danielle Sampere, Green Lantern Hal Jordan will fight to avenge his fallen teammates. So, spoiler alert, in Justice League number 75, the entire team was killed by, you guessed it, our favorite Crisis character, Pariah, and an army of villains assembled by the Great Darkness. So, in the August 2022 solicitations revealed by DC Comics, Dark Crisis number 3 promises that readers are going to see Hal Jordan wage war against the Great Darkness, while the cover drawn by Daniel Sampere shows the hero charging Pariah with constructs of the Justice League.
And Pariah crying all the way. Stop.
That's right. Jingle bells, jingle. It's just. Oh, God.
And your 2022 Eisner Award nominees are... listed in this article that I'm showing on the screen right now. Which wait, did the Eisner happen? Because I could have sworn. Yeah, I think the Eisner might have happened. I just forgot to get the who won, but I know Boom Studios won 10 Eisner's awards, because I do have that article somewhere, but I just forgot to get the rest of them. But regardless, this article is full of all of the the nominees, and I'm sure next week I will have a list of who won. Next.
I was wondering, did you see the news about Mandalorian season 3 first footage debuting at Celebration?
No, that might have come out probably. I'm sure that probably came out today because it was the first day. So.
Oh no, yeah, I was about to say it definitely came out today. It came out like a few hours, like 5 hours ago. So
yeah,
or
yeah,
like 6 hours ago. So
yeah, I wasn't on the internet. Then.
If you had a chance to take a look at it.
Like I said, I wasn't on the internet then, but I'm not surprised. I should have because of that stuff, but I didn't.
Got it. We'll probably watch it before we sign off tonight, folks.
Indeed, yeah, and it'll probably be in the show notes. Either if not this week, then next week.
All right, next up, so the Power Rangers have a new non-binary edition named the Death Ranger. I mean, why does the non-binary character have to be the Death Ranger? It can't be the Life Ranger.
Yeah.
And they look every bit as bad as the name implies, and they haven't even arrived yet. So okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look, there it is. So yeah, if you're watching the video, you can see the picture of it. Apparently, there are people that are going gaga over the character already.
Right, and we're talking about comic books here. So this is a Boom Studios book by Kyle Higgins, Henry Preseccia, and Steve Orlando.
Yeah. Speaking of Power Ranger stuff, we're going to go into Toys Corner.
Oh wait, I apologize. That's actually, those are the creators who did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1 back in 2016. So apparently, this Power Rangers Unlimited Universe. Dark Ranger #1 is set to hit store shelves on August 31st. I apologize for that mistake.
Oh, okay. Because there was a Power Rangers book that came out this week.
Alor. Yeah, this is written by. I'm sorry. This is written by. There is some information in this article about the creative team. So Paul Alor is writing and has art from Catherine Lobo, and yeah, that's as far as they go so far with the credits.
Sure. Right. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, Toy Corner, Power Rangers. Yeah, and there was a Power Rangers book that came out this week, but I didn't read it. Another Power Rangers book, as opposed to the one I did read. Lightning Collection, Blue Ranger Power Lance, and helmet on pre-order right now. So if you're watching the video, you can see the picture of the Power Lance, and you can see the helmet. Let's see, the Power Lance is $131.99. There's a pre-order already, and the Ranger prop helmet is $89.99. Both pre-orders at a well, I'm sure that's out there outside of where this is pointed to, because they have a sponsor link probably, so we won't say. Next.
Asmodee's June releases include Star Wars Outer Rim expansion, Legion, Marvel, and more. So this is some tabletop gaming stuff. So there's a lot to this particular announcement. So please check our show notes for more information.
Yeah, good stuff. I like some of Asmodee's stuff. I'm going to take the next 1, 2, 3 of these because they're
please,
because they all have to do with Celebration and merch. So there's a ton of Star Wars Celebration 22 exclusives, including apparel, collectibles, and much more. Some of this might also run together, but I'm not sure. So this first article, it's like a coffee. There's that frog lady from Mandalorian. I think this is a towel or a poster with Anakin on it, but there's a slideshow with a bunch of other stuff on it, in it, that you can check out in the show notes. The next article is the one that I wanted to focus on, with new Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Inquisitor Reva figures, Black Series, and vintage collection cases, and more. So yeah, I think this I want to say the day before Celebration this was announced. um in a because I saw the Hasbro Pulse video for the Reva character before today. So yeah, so fans can now pre-order the Reva action figure, because that's right, because the pre-orders, they were announcing stuff and the pre-orders were for today because of the first day of celebration. So there's the Reva character, which is the third sister Inquisitor, the retro collection. As you can see here, there's the retro collection of Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, Han Solo, Darth Vader, and the Stormtrooper. I had a couple of those, and I'm mad I still don't. Because I think I had Luke, and I think I had Chewbacca, and
Okay.
I'm mad I don't have them anymore. Let's see. So it's a 6-pack for $69.99 of the aforementioned characters. The Reva is $24.99. The vintage collection Reva is $14.99, and the retro collection Reva is $11.99. And like I said, all of these are you can pre-order right now. I am definitely going to. I had that Black Series one on lock already. Let's see. Was that it? Nope, I think that's it. Next up is oh yeah, the last one is how to get Star Wars Celebrations 2022 Funko Pop exclusives, which you can go into this, which I get, well, point blank, you can go to funko.com because it's all on there, fairly certainly. And I'm sure there's probably some stuff that's on the show floor that you can get, but a lot of this stuff is, according to this article, is available to pre-order at their respective retailers on the 27th, which is the day after we record. So probably by the time you hear this, you'll probably be able to go to funko.com or wherever and order the pops that you see on the video screen if you are watching the video version of this program. Next up,
Marvel Snap is a speedy digital card game from former Hearthstone developers. So this offers the same flavor of Multiverse of Madness by throwing everybody from everywhere in a big pot, shaking and seeing what kind of shenanigans come out. So Marvel Snap, they've got the power, is a new collectible card game that its creators claim has some of the fastest gameplay in the collectible card game space. So matches apparently only last about 3 minutes, and players take turns simultaneously. So there's no waiting for your opponent to just finally figure out they have lethal and kill you already. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, there's a closed beta or closed alpha, I believe, is going on right now. Unfortunately, I did not get into it. And for Android phones, I'm upset about this. But and it's from the folks what brought you, well, some ex folks that what brought you Hearthstone, including a couple of known names with their new studio. So I'm looking forward to checking this out whenever I saw it. I know Agent 70 might not be in the card games, but some of the art for some of these cards he might be interested in because it's done by some known folks.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it
cool.
might be, like you say, you're interested. I'm the lyrical Jesse James.
Boo. Anyway.
Oh, we always bring the musical references to the show, folks.
Indeed. Next up, which probably should have been before this, nevertheless, but Funko announces exclusive Marvel Studio Selects lines of collectibles. So Funko and Marvel have announced a new program involving the release of exclusive collectible figures. Marvel Studio Selects is a new program created in collaboration between Funko, Marvel, and Target. Recently announced by Funko and Marvel, the Marvel Studio Selects program will unveil a new exclusive collectible on the last Monday of every month, starting on May 30th. Each collectible will be inspired by Marvel Studios' most popular movies and television series, with many based on the heroes and villains featured throughout the MCU. Products will be available exclusively at Target, both in-store and online. Announcements regarding Marvel Studios Selects will be available on Funko's official Twitter and Facebook accounts at Original Funko. I believe we might have seen a couple of these, because I think the Layla one might have been a part of that. But I'm not sure. But regardless, hey, that's what, next week? Actually, that's not even next week. It's in a couple of days. May the 30th. So, well, May next week. Duh. Next up.
All right. So the Marvel MMO from DC Universe Online developers has been canceled. So this is only months after its initial announcement. Daybreak Games' Marvel MMO has been canceled, disappointing fans who hoped for a DCUO experience. So this is canceled only months after confirming its active development. So yeah, that's a shame. I'm not a gamer, but it's a shame that something that would have been pretty cool and I might have actually thought about getting into, is just now canceled right from under everybody.
You didn't. Oh man, I wish Marvel Heroes was still around. That was so good. You would have enjoyed it, I think, because it was less of an MMO and more actiony, even though it was a massively multiplayer setting. Yeah.
Right.
But I think you would have enjoyed that while it was still because it was really good though. You could play it as I would say pretty much anything, but anybody, but that's not entirely true. But it was good, and they had your boy Cap representing quite lovely. In I dare say, Storm was actually pretty good too. Man, I missed that game. I missed that game so much. But
I mean, for a lot of those characters, especially a lot of my favorite characters, we had Marvel versus Capcom. So
true. But this is like, you just pretty much could go around the world. And the Hulk was actually pretty great too. Once you got him, up to snuff. Actually, it didn't even take long to do that. So Marvel Heroes was so good, it really was. Now the drawback here, I guess, because it was this canceled one was by the same people who did DCUO, which DCUO was kind of boring, which is the DC MMO, like a strict MMO. A more stricter MMO as opposed to what Marvel Heroes was. So I was kind of leery about what the Marvel version of it was, but I would have still played it. And maybe they would have hopefully learned some lessons from DCUO in dealing with the Marvel one, but I guess we will never find out now. Next up. Is that me? Oh. Marvel's Defenders Fantastic Four gather for Matt Murdock's funeral. That's from Devil's Reign Omega #1, which Agent 70 already talked about, so we don't have to worry about that.
I didn't spoil this part, so yeah.
Yeah, it's the article's title is not exactly indicative of what it seems.
Right.
That's all I will say about that. Next.
Yep. All right. The X-Men's and Mr. Sinister's new evolution is hulkishly smashing. So his massive Hulk-like upgrade in the latest issue of Immortal X-Men. So this is from last week by writer Kieran Gillen and artist Lucas Vernick. So, that's it's a radical transformation. It's not exactly what it sounds like, but yeah.
Yeah, I still have yet to read that, but I guess I will. It's like Weapon H.
Yeah, there's definitely hints of that.
Gotcha. Marvel just introduced a mutant with belly button superpowers. Yay. And this is spoilers for The Excellent #3, which is I think from last week. And I'm not reading it. So
same.
But huh?
I said nor am I.
Right. So yeah, the Excellent #3 comes from writer Peter Milligan, artist Michael Allred, and colorist Laura Allred, letterers Nate Piekos of Blambot. That's a new one. We haven't dealt with a Blambot during our time. But yeah, carrying to this, the Excellent all hang around the Zeitgeist's home after a standoff with the Ecstatics and the recent death of Joe Bomb. And apparently there are some new members coming on to the team, including whoever this person is with the belly button and powers. Why? Next.
All right, so you too can enter to own to win all 6 Penguin Classics Marvel Collection titles. So you can win early copies of The Amazing Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Captain America in both deluxe hardcover and iconic black spine formats. And you can go to the website, sites.prh.com/Penguin Classics Marvel Sweepstakes. hashtag sweepstakes to enter for a chance to win.
And if that's too long for you, you can just go to the article in the show notes. And
Yeah, I literally was reading the URL. Yeah, but at least it wasn't like a bunch of jumbled letters. It was just a bunch of like legible words with the hashtag in there.
Yeah, that's true. That is also true. These look good though, and I did definitely put my stake in there. I doubt if I'll win, but hey, like I said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't make, right?
Yep.
That's what they tell you. Last but not least, in a year of free comics, there's a new webcomic called Iris Complex. And apparently it was created and written by Josh Tierney and illustrated by Cassio Rivera. The Tapestry series dives right into a mystery, which was a young woman wakes up in a field one smoldering afternoon with only 5 buildings and nothing else around her. She has no idea who she is or how she got there, but as she searches the bag she's holding, the bag of holding she's holding, excuse me, she finds a college architecture textbook, a test sheet with the name Iris on it, and a keyring holding 5 different keys. Deciding to see if the keys match the building and assuming her name is Iris, she enters the first building, a creepily quiet apartment complex with a mysterious landlord. Once inside, Iris starts having flashes of memories, and in some cases, these memories trigger emotions inside her she can't fully explain. If any of that sounds interesting to you, then you can check out the Iris Complex on tapis.io, or you can go to the link in the show notes to check that out. And that's it, folks, for the news. Let's get one last ad read.
Our last ad read of the night is for Amazon. Help keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today.
That's it, folks. We are on the cusp of 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi in just a few hours as of this recording. By the time you hear this program, they would have already been out, and you would have gone either go gaga over it and or complaining and more complaining. And I hope you
somewhere in between.
Yes, and I hope you stupid ass people don't send Moses Ingram any death threats, even though she has been warned, but probably not having any kind of protections to the stupid fandom who don't like change or don't like this and then the other. Find a life, you dumbasses. Anyway,
I'm not sure what Roddykat is talking about at this point, but okay.
There was an article out there on saying that Moses Ingram, who plays Reva, the third sister, was told by Lucasfilm that, hey, the fandom can get a little nasty. But
oh, you mean because in the cartoon she was gray?
What cartoon?
The third sister, the whatchamacallit in Rebels?
No, that's the no. That's not the. I don't think that's the same. This is a new character. I don't think it's the same one. You're thinking of the sixth sister, aren't you?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think you might be thinking of the sixth sister.
I'm tired.
Yeah, sixth sister, and safe brother, who I believe one and or both of which may be showing in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know seventh brother is, but sixth sister I don't think shows up in this live action show. But no, they're just Lucas. I had to get that article and show you, but yeah, no, they basically told her to, like, yeah, the fandom could be kind of rough, but I don't think they give her any kind of protections outside of just telling her that. Because as we know what happened with Rose Tico and other characters, the fandoms are stupid, can be stupid, or certain parts of the fandom can be very stupid. I'll put it that way. Anyway, that being said, like I said, celebrations going on. Hopefully you enjoy that and enjoy Obi-Wan Kenobi as it's coming out. We will talk about the 2 episodes next week. Yeah, because our only other option was to forego recording until then, and I didn't want to put Agent 70 through that, even though he may or may not have been down for it, but I didn't think to ask. So, regardless, this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me News Nerds Need on Twitter. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram. PC_Dirt on Twitter. PopCultureNet on Twitter. PopCultureNetwork.com is on umbrella sites therein. And of course, Tim DOGG98 on Twitter, CB Cron on Twitter, which is the Comic Book Chronicles Twitter account, the Kliq Nation on Twitter, thekliqnation.com, and last but not least, but mostly comicbook.com, where he's over there writing his face off. You can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network at CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find this podcast on your podcast portal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network SoundCloud page. You could find us also recording every Thursday night, 9:30-ish p.m. at the YouTube channel of The Kliq Nation. That's the youtube.com/TheKliqNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles. So yeah, like and subscribe, 5-star reviews, all that good jazz. Listen, we'll be back next week, folks. This has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. One.
And knowing is half the battle.